part, but you can't tell everything in 2 minutes, but some highlights would be terrific.
Well, you saw the video yesterday, which I thought was really cool. When I say we, I'm referring to the current board, a task force that existed 2 years ago, I believe, and multiple meetings that preceded my place on the board. A lot of work went into that SMPS University that we announced yesterday. And you should really understand that this is a very serious attempt, along with things like the practice management community, to say to the rest of the industry, we're here to do very important education. If you take a look at the SMPS logo, what do you see beneath the M? Anyone? You do. I was kind of curious about what that meant. So over the years, I've asked a few people, and the general story you hear is, of course, it stands for marketing, but the M is emphasized. And what I want to say to you related to SMPSU is that marketing is not one of the things that we do in our industry. It is the thing that we do for success. So we were trying to figure out, once you get your CPSM, once you are established and you're trying to figure out, well, where's the place for the marketing professional to go next? And this concept started to develop. So many, many meetings, the task force I mentioned, and it was very exciting to announce it officially yesterday. We realized that the best way to have good street credentials is, in an educational setting, is to go to a place that actually does higher education. So the Center for Excellence in Service at the University of Maryland was a great fit, and the close proximity to our national headquarters in Alexandria is wonderful. We really hope you'll pay attention to that, and we'd love to have a few of you join us in the first class this fall, but we think that you'll be able to see this thing going for a long time coming with many, many modules and classes in the future. We're very excited about where you can go with your career with that.
That was great. Thank you so much for all of your hard work on that. Next, we have Brad. And Brad was a new board member this year, and I tasked him with blueprints. And I have to tell you, he and Chris Rickman in that committee kicked butt. You guys had a huge task in front of you, but I knew that you could do it. And Chris, where are you? Rickman? Chris? You said, why did I choose you? Because look at the screen, it's done. You did it, and I knew you could, and that's why we chose you. So, go ahead.
Well, when this whole project came about during Carolyn's retreat, she kind of challenged us with coming up with a way for our members to self-advocate for themselves in their jobs. How do non-technicals in a technical world find their way? How do they define their careers? How do they have a path? And the term career pathways had been used for a long, long time. But she basically dared me to try and get this done in a year. So anybody that's ever worked with me knows that the way I get things done is I find somebody else to do it for me. And that was Chris. But Chris, we put together just a kick-ass task force. I can say ass, can I?
I guess you just
okay.
did.
Can I say suck it?
No.
No, okay. So we put together this task force, and it was a great, great group. It was AEC, it was North-South, it was East-West Central, it was new members, it was established members. We had 6, correct me, I'm going to leave somebody out, I'm sorry, but it was Craig Galati, Scott Milder, Sarah Stevens, Mariah Quinn, Darren Bennett, no, who am I? Lee Jarboe. And so what we wanted to do was come up with a tool that works 2 ways in the industry. First, it starts off as if you're an individual and you need to establish a job description for yourself, a way to evaluate where you are in your career and pitch it to your boss, or put together a model department, it works that way. We're also looking to be able to pitch this to AIA, AGC, to other agencies. So if you're a firm and you're starting a marketing department, or you need to evaluate where you are in your marketing and business development efforts, you can do this and go backwards through it. You can start with the plans, and you can work through the job descriptions, and you can come up with the gap analysis. So right now, Phase 1 of Blueprints is 3 parts, and we picked Blueprints because we figured it's the AEC industry and everybody knows about Blueprints. There's 3 parts to it right now: plans, details, and elevations, okay? Plans are model building departments, details are the job descriptions, and elevation is the gap analysis, all right? And it's available today online on my SMPS or on smps.com or org. You can download it. It's an interactive PDF. You can, it's check boxes. You can go through the gap analysis. It's got job descriptions for 9 different levels, all the way from marketing assistant all the way through principal and CMO. It's a great document, and it's just phase 1. The reason I say phase 1 is because we want to continue to integrate things like communication techniques, how to ask for a raise, how to, we would like to work with the foundation and tie it into the salary survey. There's so many ways that this can take and grow and continue to develop it, so that as Kevin was talking about educating the industry, it's also a way that we can educate ourselves and elevate ourselves within the technical world. So we're very excited about it. I can't thank the task force enough. They just did a fantastic job.
Wonderful. Thank you for getting that done. I didn't realize I dared you. I'll have to do that more often. Or not. Last but certainly not least is Tom Smith, who is our national past president, and we've been on the board for 5 years, and he's leaving us, and it's not been imprinted in my head yet that you're leaving, and I keep asking him to do things, and he takes it on and then tells me later he can't do it. He's off the board. But I'm going to miss you greatly. You've done an outstanding job as past president. Everybody says it's where you slide out the door. I made him work. So I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about what he did this year.
Thanks, Carolyn. Thanks for making me work, by the way. Well, it's been a very interesting year, and I think one of the key activities that I undertook was with an idea that came from Carolyn as well as the National Board, was to make better use of our resources that we have in the organization that is our past presidents. As we all know in our jobs, it's all about resources and leveraging those resources for the success of your firm. And so what we did was we reached out to 30-plus past national presidents and asked them if they would be interested in being part of a formalized past national presidents advisory council. And not surprisingly, we got a resounding yes, we would like to be involved, and we surveyed them as to the kinds of activities they'd like to be involved in and how much effort they had available and were interested in providing in that capacity. And so the board then confirmed this, so we actually do have a past national President's Advisory Council. And one of the first things we asked that group to do was to provide some input for Frank's strategic planning session that we held this past June as to what they saw was the future of the organization and what activities should this next board and future boards be considering as we evolve our strategic plan and our individual annual business strategies. So that was very successful, gave some really good input. And we also then, second task of the council was to provide input to Donna Jakubowicz and to the SMPS Foundation for their strategic planning for this upcoming year. Again, along the same lines, what could the foundation do differently? What initiatives should the foundation be supporting that in their minds as past national president, with the overview that they have, how could the foundation improve itself as more of an effort of doing research and investigation and more support of our members. So that was very beneficial and has been used already in the planning of the foundations next year. I would like to acknowledge that at this conference, there are a total of 11 past national presidents, and I'd just like to read off their names, and if you're here at this meeting, please stand up so that we can give you the attention that you deserve. This is 1/3 of our past national presidents are at this conference. Nancy Egan, Ed Bond, Tim Barrick, Mike Riley, Mitch Levitt, Randy Pollock, Karen Courtney, Dana Burke, Donna Corlew, and Pete Kinley. So let's all give them a round of applause.
Thank you so much for all that you've done, being a mentor, a friend. I've really enjoyed our friendship, so I'm going to miss you next year immensely. I'm going to wrap up now. We have done so much, but behind everything that a good leader does. I've got a great team, and it's not just this team, it's everybody out there. You all are part of my team, and I appreciate everything you do for SMPS. And in this last month, you got to show the picture now because I'm dying to show the audience this picture. This last month, well, we did this at the beginning of my term, and I said I'd end with this, but this last month, everybody's asking me, are you ready for it to be over? And I'm just paced myself. Yes, I'm relieved. I can get back to some things that I've been missing. But for me, it's like a great movie. This has been a great movie for me that I will put away and I will bring out and watch. It will make me so happy. It's like your favorite movie. Love Actually is a favorite movie of mine. I watch it whenever I'm feeling sad. I watch it at Christmas time. I watch it when it's on TBS and through the commercials. That's how I feel about this year. It's been a great movie. And I'm really excited about Frank being the new national president. So thank you for this honor. I'm humbled. I hope you feel like you've had a great time. You've learned things here. I hope you come up at some point and be a part of this board. We need good leaders. So that's all I have. Thank you very much for everything. And now I'd like to present the 2011-2012 new national president, Mr. Frank Lippert.
Thank you. This thing is actually lighter than I thought it would be, but I'm sure it's going to get heavy as the year goes on. And I may use it like a mallet. It's pretty cool to be here, and I want to jump off script just a little bit. Lisa Bowman, don't shoot me, please, or grab the big hook and pull me off stage right away. I hope you notice that this is a group of friends up here. We have a lot to do as a national board. We have a huge responsibility. We take that very, very seriously. All 6,000 members that we have, your dues, you expect something from us, and you expect us to really perform for you. I hope you all notice that we did stuff, and that's how it is. That's what's really, this morning when I said the bottom line is changed in SMPS, and that's what we're getting here. We're getting a national board that's out there doing things, so it's great. Thank you all. I don't know what I'm going to do without you, Tom. I've already assigned Tom one thing as part of the past President's Council. So 3 things I want you all to remember that are coming up for next year. Everybody keeps saying, what's next? What's the big things? Thanks to the great past leadership, especially those recession presidents, Dana Burks, Tom Smith, Carolyn Ferguson, people who kind of steadied this ship through this recession, myself as well, we're not out of this thing. And thanks to a great national staff and great efforts at the chapter level, our membership numbers have not dipped severely. Yeah, we've had a few layoffs, people have had to switch jobs, things have been a little crazy, but you know what? We're still a very, very, very strong professional organization. When we come out of this thing, it can't go down, it's going to go up. So the one thing I really want to make sure we're doing is let's take a really good look at what does this society look like at 10,000 members. Do we have the right systems and processes in place to get there? That'll start with a chapter management best practices manual that's going to come out pretty quick here. It's kind of a living document, but let's start to take those things that are mundane at the chapter level, the administrative, the logistical things, let's get those into a baseline so we can have a little more efficiency there, free our chapters up to have great programming, great regional conferences. Second thing is CPSM. I've taken a little bit of flack for this, but I got to say this. I have a dream. This is kind of the Martin Luther King piece of the speech. I have a dream that one day we will see a solicitation from the federal government that reads, SF 330, preferably prepared by a certified professional services marketer. Come on, isn't it about time? If you haven't taken that exam, get over your fears. Take that exam. It's tough, it's hard, it should be, but come on, once our clients start asking for this stuff, once we start to realize what CPSM is, and the clients ask for it, how easy is it going to be for your companies to write that check for membership, to send you to the National Conference for CEUs, to send you to chapter events? Let's get to that place. Third thing, three fingers. Third thing is, again, what's coming out of this recession is an increased focus on clients. We heard it from Hillary, we heard it from Scott, we heard it all through this conference with client panels. Let's get to those clients where they live. Let's get to them at their professional organizations. We have had peer-to-peer organization agreements with AIA, with AGC, with other peer organizations. Let's start a formalized agreement with the Society of American Military Engineers. Let's start an agreement with the American Public Works Association, with SCUP, with some of the places, COA, these big client organizations. This is where they're at. I would love to have our distinguished fellows, our foundation, do things that help them understand the other side of business development. How about getting an RFP that we can all understand and clearly respond to? Let's get there, right? So those are the three things that are coming this year. Obviously, those are things that I can start. I can kind of push that giant boulder a little bit farther forward. I'm not sure I can push it all the way to the top of the mountain. I may task Brad with it because apparently he can do that. So that's what's coming next for us. So I would like to take a minute and introduce my board, which doesn't look a heck of a lot different, but if I could have Holly Bolton come to the stage. And Tom, thank you so much.